guys, what's up? Retro Shinobi here, coming to another video. In this video, we're going to be going to a couple of different thrift stores in my area. Going to be going to the pawn store in my area, which I've never been to, so I'm really excited. Hopefully, get some good footage for that, and we'll be able to put that in if they have any good video game stuff. I don't really tend to see a lot of video game stuff at my local thrift stores. One of the local Goodwill, I have never seen a single video game there. Like, period. I've never seen one. The most I've seen was a Wii Fit like fitness board. So in my local Salvation Army mostly has like a couple of sports games. But we're gonna see if there's anything good at the.
All right, so this is the pawn store, and they had so many more games than I was expecting. Soon you're gonna see this huge wall of consoles. I mean, they have just about everything you could want. The only issue is every single thing that I looked up was either at the high end or above eBay prices. Here you can see $150 for a Pokemon XD GameCube, and I mean $99 for Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. The prices were just a little too high for me to pull the trigger on anything. If I missed anything, definitely let me know.
Alright, so I want to start with a game that I originally saw last week at Jay's, and they wanted $60 for it brand new. It was trending like $25 brand new on eBay, and it was looking like $15 to $18 used. So I just went ahead and ordered it used on eBay while I was at the store, because I knew that it was a game that I was interested in, and I knew that it was a game I probably wasn't going to see, but it wasn't too expensive. And that game is Exist Archive for the for the PlayStation 4. It's called Exist Archive, The Other Side of the Sky. And from what I understand about this game, I saw a little bit of gameplay in a video talking about like rare RPGs for the PS4, games that are supposed to be like hidden gems and things of that nature. This did come complete with a manual, which is nice. It's actually like a full manual too. There is some minor damage. Someone damaged the case a little bit when they were trying to get off what looks like a Gamestop sticker. So it is what it is. What are you gonna do? I can always replace the case. The damage to the actual insert is really minimal. If you put like a heavy book on top of it for like a couple of days, it probably would flatten right out. So I'm not too worried about that. What I did think was really interesting was that inside of here, they shipped it in a bubble mailer, and I was like, oh great, it's going to be a broken case. Like I'm gonna have to get a new PS4 case to replace it. But what they did was they just put this little bit of bubble wrap right here, on top of the disc. And it actually worked really well in padding it together. And I've never thought about that. I don't know why. It's something that I've never really thought about. It's something that I've never seen when it comes to delivering used games. So that's definitely something I'm going to adopt. I need to buy some bubble wrap first, of course. But in the future, when I'm selling games or DVDs or Blu-rays or things of that nature, definitely something to look out for. It's really simple, and I'm sure it's pretty cheap too. But it just helps ensure that the game is in good condition, and it helps you to get, maybe get a positive
This is classic Spike Chunsoft JRPG.
So
I mean, there's so many, it seems at a glance like normal RPG combat, but there's actually a lot going on here that I'm really interested to start delving into. So first of all, you see each of the characters has a button assigned with them, so we might be dealing with some Project X Zone type combat, including turn systems. You've got drop rates that increase and decrease. You've got risk, which means something. You're using action, so probably certain level skills or certain defenses use a certain amount of action. You can kind of micromanage that. This is something that I'm really, really interested in. It looks like there's a lot of depth to it, and the story also seems pretty interesting. On the back it says, on one fateful day we were killed by God. Our story began as our lives ended. So the game apparently starts with you dying. You know, Spike Chunsoft always creates these really out there games, and I'm really excited to, you know, see what this one is all about.
I'm very excited to play this. Once I start clearing some more games out of my backlog, you know, right now I'm trying to finish Yakuza Like a Dragon so that I can play Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. It's supposed to be in the mail. I don't know if, you know, something went wrong with the shipping or, you know, if it went missing. Hopefully that's not the case. It should be here by now, but I'm just being patient, you know, waiting a couple more days and you know, fingers crossed on that. So next we are going to get into the game that I got from a pre-order. I was actually pretty surprised to see how much this is going for since it came out February 1st. That is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Deluxe Edition. Now, I've seen a lot of hype surrounding Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. This is the Deluxe Edition, which I already have opened, and yes, it did hurt to open. I felt, you know, I took a little bit of psychic damage breaking that seal, but it comes with, let me separate that. So this right here is like a sleeve that comes out, and then you can kind of see it like the book format. I keep, for higher dollar items, I always keep the receipt. There we go. It came to me. I always keep the receipt in the game because whenever I get an older game and I open up the case and I see like an old receipt, it's really exciting for me. So, you know, I want to keep that same excitement. If, you know, 10 days down or 10 years down the line, I go to sell the game, it would just be exciting, you know? So it comes with an art book, just kind of weapons, characters, monsters, that kind of thing. It comes with a special soundtrack, which is still sealed. It's going to remain that way. Everything inside of it is not being touched. Let's see here. I'm gonna make sure I can show this. It's got an item voucher set, which I am going to be redeeming eventually. Or maybe I won't. You never know. Hopefully I didn't show the code accidentally if I decide not to, and you know, someone doesn't take it for the video. And then these, I believe, are like different character cards. I'm not really sure. It's sealed. And then you've got the base game, which is still sealed as of now. Me and a friend are going to be playing this together because of the multiplayer aspects, and their copy hasn't come in yet. So we're waiting on that. This was, I believe it was $99.99. Yeah, $99.99 for the deluxe edition. And I'm already seeing sold comps on eBay around $130. That was the day I picked it up, which was the day after it came out. So it's really interesting to me that a game, you know, that I didn't really see any hype. The collector's edition is obviously a lot rarer than the deluxe edition. That sold out almost immediately. But the way that I even found out about it, that it had a deluxe edition, was I was in a GameStop talking to someone, and my friend was getting his copy pre-ordered, and they were like, "Oh, do you want the regular or the deluxe?" And I was like, when I went to pre-order my copy, there wasn't a deluxe edition, so I I had him pre-order the deluxe edition, and then I paid the difference, and then you know, that became my copy. So technically we're waiting on my copy for him. I might just take out the game and give him that game, and then, you know.
Alright, so Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is an action RPG released by Games that has been in development for almost a decade, if not a little over a decade. I'm not exactly sure on the development time. They switched development studios, which definitely caused some of that increased time when it comes to the development period. But as you can see, it's a very polished game. I knew absolutely nothing about the Grand Blue series, but apparently it started as a mobile game. They have a fighting game that's out. I'm sure some of you have it. The original, because it came with PlayStation Plus. It was one of the monthly games, I believe, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Or Grand Blue Fantasy Rising Versus. And that is a seemingly very solid fighting game. I've played a couple of rounds of it. It was a lot of fun for me. But this is a more traditional action RPG in the vein of what I'm assuming the mobile game was like. But this obviously is more upgraded to fit the specifications of the PlayStation. So there is a story that takes between 10 to 20 hours to complete based on how much of these side quests that you are doing. All of the different side content and grinding for levels and all of that can definitely add to your gameplay. But where this game really shines is in the multiplayer aspects that are done through quests that we're going to be showing here in a bit, and the post-game content. There is an estimated over 80 hours of post-game content. A lot of that is possible to do with friends. You are able to take control of a cast of over, I believe, 12 characters. I could be wrong on that, but it is a substantial amount of characters, all of which have their own kind of fighting style, their own weapons and combos, so they all play very differently. It's a game in which you have to kind of figure out what character is your play style and kind of build that game around that. Here is the quest. You can do this with up to 3 other people online that you know. You can do online matchmaking to match with players that you don't know, or you can play with the game's AI if you don't feel like connecting to the internet. There are different rewards, I believe, in for completing these quests. As you can see on the top right, there are 3 different defeat objectives that give you better rewards if you complete them, and obviously you get better rewards if you complete all of them. So here they're showing a different character who plays a lot differently. They're building up this meter that allows them to do more damage. They also have an attack where they kind of stand still and wind up, and if that attack hits, it deals a lot of damage. We're going to be seeing that very soon. So right here, I believe, or maybe in a little bit. Yeah, right here, they're winding this attack up, and then bam, they deal almost 2,000 damage, where, their usual attacks are dealing between 100 and 200, maybe 300 damage. So this game has a lot going on. This link meter allows you to slow down time if you fill it up to 100% and deal more damage. It's a very interesting game.
All right, so while we weren't really able to find anything that was worth buying for the price point at that thrift store, and if I missed anything, definitely let me know. Like I said before, I'm always learning more, and the games I was interested in, I looked up prices, and it didn't really look like it was that good of a deal for really anything. It looked like they were at top end or just above top end. But we did catch GameStop lacking, so to speak. Now, my local GameStop still has the retro games. So you've got your retro. They still have Wii and Wii U games, and then they also have up towards the front, they have their DS, 3DS, and Game Boy Advance games. Now, I got 1 Game Boy Advance game and 1 DS game. And I paid in total, let me grab the receipt. For these 2 games, I paid in total, let me do some quick math, $36. So I'm going to tell you why I got them lacking. The first game is Final Fantasy IV Advance, which says right here, $17.99. I have the Pro Plus, so I only paid $17.09 for this game. Some sold comps are going, around your $20-25 range, but the majority of them are sticking more in that $30 to $35 range, which just means on the high end, this game pays for both of them. And this is a great game. I am recently really getting into Final Fantasy. I was always a Dragon Quest fan, and I still am. It's one of my favorite series of all time. But I've been playing through the original Final Fantasy games and really enjoying them. I'm on 5 right now in the Pixel Remaster. So getting 4 for the Advance, which is considered the best version from what I've read online, is really cool. And I'm really excited to add this one and the other ones to the collection. They had 5, but they wanted $35, which is about what it goes for. For some reason, they only had this one at 20. I think maybe their system is a little messed up. I'm not sure. But I got lucky, and, I'm happy. So the other game, which I got for $18.99, is Final Fantasy XII Benevolent Wings for the Nintendo DS. And as you can see, I left these stickers on so that you can see it. I'm going to be taking them off afterwards. And now this one does have a little bit of damage, but it looks a lot worse than it actually is. If you look there, that looks really, really rough. I took it off, and the amount of actual insert damage is really minimal. So if I can find, a cheap like $2-3 DS game just that it has a good case that I can just swap out, again, using the book method, get a nice and heavy book and just kind of set it on top of it for like a week. I think that this would come out to be a 8 out of 10 copy. Now on the inside, if I take out my receipt, it is in great shape. You got the manual, you've got the game itself, and as you can see, it's a very nice copy. And yeah, I don't know a lot about this game, haven't played it yet. I'm one of those people who like to go, when there's a franchise, go from the first game to the last game without making any kind of deviations from that, which is why I started with Final Fantasy 1, even though, I own Final Fantasy 16. But, collecting all of them is really nice. This is definitely staying in the collection, as well as Final Fantasy 4. I need to get one of those. I need to find a way to display Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy Color games and Game Boy Original games on the shelf. I've seen some things that I'm looking into. At this point, it's really just the price and whatnot, to be able to, display these instead of have them, still in the box. So it's nice to have everything else displayed, but I want to be able to display everything. Okay, so those are the pickups for this week. We've got, like I said earlier, we've got Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth coming in soon, hopefully. I think I'm going to do a review of Yakuza Like a Dragon. Talk about how I feel about the game. I have to beat it first, obviously, to do that. I don't want to talk about a game before I've beaten it because, I might give a misinterpretation of how I feel about it if it's an incomplete interpretation, So that is all that I have for you guys this week. This is a little bit of a shorter episode, probably. I don't know, I haven't put it together yet. So thank you for sticking along, and I'm going to get into the game collection total, and then we will close out. So.
All right, so this is the current state of the video game collection. As you can see, we're at $5,125. So we finally broke that $5,000 range. I think it also was helped by the fact that some of the games in the collection have gone up in value. Obviously, that number will fluctuate a little bit. So here, if we show by added, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink Deluxe Edition does not have any sold listings right now. If you go to price charting, you can see that it only has one sale, and it's just doesn't have enough data to kind of compile, what it's going for right now. So that whatever, the 5125 is probably closer to 5225. But here you can see Final Fantasy 12, they're saying is worth 28 complete in box. And then Final Fantasy 4, they're saying is 22 loose, which I saw a little bit higher than that on eBay, but, what are you going to do? You can see here it says complete 28.47. So 28.47, they put it as 28. So you can look at that as you will. Look at price charting. I usually look at eBay prices to dictate what a game is worth, but that's just me. I can appreciate what they say when they use price charting. It's a good way to get an estimate of what a game collection is worth. But obviously, if you look up certain games, you can see different prices. So you can see here, Star Ocean, it says, is down. Pokemon Silver is down. Pokemon Emerald is down. Pokemon Crystal went up. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 went up by $15. That's pretty surprising. Pokemon Emerald went down by $10. A lot of these games are going up in value. So this new went up by $4. It's $65 for a Switch game. It's pretty good. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, it went up by $27 for the CIB. So, a lot of games are going up in value. Like I said, this Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is something to keep your eyes out for. It was only going for like $20, but now you're starting to see it go up and up and up in value. So it's definitely something to be on the lookout for. If you can find it for a good deal at a game store, or maybe out at a thrift store, or online even, someone might have it for a little cheaper if you can get lucky. So that is all that I have for this week. Thank you guys for watching to the end. And this is Retro Shinobi signing out.